सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया, that's it. But listen तो.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा। इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
You know that expression young people use these days? FOMO, F-O-M-O, fear of missing out. So fear of missing out is what seems to have also gripped us Indians. But look, such a big war is taking place between Ukraine and Russia. 3 different countries are bombing different parts of Syria, right? Saudis are bombing the daylights out of Yemen. All kinds of wars in Ethiopia, in Tigray, all kinds of wars are going on. At this point, maybe 24 wars are going on. But we in India are so peaceful. We have no war going on. So, are we missing out on something? So, let's start a few wars of our own here. So, what have we done? We try various kinds of things. You've also seen, let's say, in Kerala, they've discovered a good cause to fight amongst themselves. In this case, in support of Brazil or Argentina. So supporters of Brazil and Argentina attacked each other and there was quite a bit of fighting in Kolam. Those videos have come out. In another place, one more person who's supposed to be a BJP worker, nobody knows for sure or not, he saw a Portuguese flag and he thought that this was perhaps the flag of SDPI. SDPI is the political wing of PFI. So he burnt or destroyed that flag. In retaliation, supporters of Ronaldo, who happens to belong to Portugal, they thought he had insulted the flag of Ronaldo's country, so they beat the guy up. So you can invent little warfare like that, which local police will put out. But at a larger scale, when the entire states are feeling bored, that Arey Baba, koi excitement nahi hai, there is no war going on, then they invent war between themselves or they reinvent wars that existed. So on this day, sort of serendipitously, we've seen this break out in 2 places. So Assam and Meghalaya, they've had border trouble repeatedly. They had clashes, which we talked about. We had an entire episode of Cut the Clutter on it. Yesterday, they exchanged fire along their borders, sort of in the hills. So in Assam, in the Karbi Anglong side, in Meghalaya, on the West Chantia hillside. So this was apparently a bunch of timber smugglers. So the Assamese authorities say bunch of timber smugglers who infiltrated from Meghalaya into Assam's quote-unquote sovereign territory and were stealing what else but a truckload of timber. So that's chindi chori. And for that, Assam police opened fire. So 5 tribals from Meghalaya died and 1 forest guard from Assam died. And this has had a ripple effect. This has had an effect. Lots of officials have been transferred, fired. A judicial inquiry has been ordered in Meghalaya, where they have this beautiful cherry blossom festival at the end of November. That's now been cancelled because there is so much anger in the state. So those 2 states have discovered their own excitement. Now they will spend the next several weeks trying to put it down. And you know what? These things leave scars. So something or the other will keep happening. And you know, life should not get too boring. Samay bitane ke liye karna hai kuch kaam, as they say. When you're bored, do something. Except when it costs lives or it causes damage to people in the economy, it's a bad thing. Now, in the middle of all this, 2 of our major states, 2 of our biggest states, including the one where I am recording this, and that's why noise, it's very difficult to be outdoors in Mumbai and find a place which is not noisy. So I'm in BKC, Bandra Kurla complex, noisy, but also also a good coincidence or interesting coincidence, I would say, good or bad, I don't know. Interesting in the sense that in a journalist's life, dateline matters. So the state whose capital I stand in, that is Mumbai, that state is now at war with Karnataka, the neighbouring major state. Now both are major states. Maharashtra is much bigger than Karnataka. Maharashtra sends the 2nd largest number of MPs to national parliament after UP. These 2 have rediscovered their old dispute over what is called as Belagavi now. Belagavi, or which used to be called Belgaum. So, someone like me who's an outsider to both states, often if I'm referring to this city, I end up saying Bombay, then I correct myself, right? For the fear of God. And in Karnataka, I've now learned to say Karnataka rather than Karnataka, which people in the north often say, and I would often get pulled up for that. And Belagavi now. So Belagavi is a territory that was given by the States Reorganization Commission under the States Reorganization Act in 1956, when states were divided on a linguistic basis, to what was then Mysore state and later became Karnataka after yet another reorganization. So Belagavi district and that area, say about 800 villages, were given to Karnataka. Mysore then, Karnataka then. So Karnataka is Mysore's successor state. What came this side was actually the old Bombay Presidency, not Mumbai Presidency, Bombay Presidency, out of which once again in 1960 divisions took place and Gujarat and Maharashtra were constituted. So when that happened, people of Maharashtra protested. And people of Maharashtra protested big time. The political parties of Maharashtra protested big time because they said that the Belgaum region, which had been given away to Karnataka, actually had a higher number of people who spoke Marathi than Kannada. So if the division of the states was being done on linguistic basis, so how could this region go to Karnataka? So if you see, the reference we have available as I read up is from in 1881, not a national census because national census was not taking place yet. Maybe a local census or some data that was available in some kind of a head count in this region, in the Belgaum region, that counted a total of 8,64,014 people. 8,64,000, so say 8.5 lakh people, out of which 5.5 lakh, 5,56,000, say 5.5 lakh were Marathi speaking. So the question that Maharashtra politicians and public opinion in Maharashtra asked was that if these are linguistic states, then why is the region which looks like 2/3 Maharashtrian speaking, why is it going to Karnataka? Now, like with everything in our country, there's a complex history to this. This was not earlier a part of, say, a Maharashtra or Marathi speaking region, but in the 18th century with Maratha conquests, particularly when Peshwas were in power, there was a push towards northern Karnataka from what is today's Maharashtra, into what is today's northern Karnataka. So a lot of Marathi speaking people settled there, and because in a way Marathi was a language in the state, because this was in Maratha Empire, so a large Marathi speaking population grew there. So Maharashtra wants that territory. Obviously Karnataka will have nothing of it, nothing to do with it. Now there is a little history to this. In 1956 there were protests. After this, there was a Mahajan committee set up by the central government. Mahajan committee was headed by a man called Meghalaya Mahajan. Now, you might remember recently means maybe about 2 months back, Mr. Modi had gone to Jammu and he had unveiled a statue of Justice Meghalaya Mahajan. Now, Meghalaya Mahajan was one of India's topmost jurists. He also functioned as the Prime Minister of Jammu and Kashmir at the most crucial time when the instrument of accession was signed. In fact, played a stellar role in drafting it. There is a market in Delhi named after him. And he also was given the responsibility to try and resolve the Belgaum issue. So just as the Kashmir issue, that he brought Kashmir to India, but Kashmir issue remains unresolved, so does the Belgaum issue that remains unresolved. In fact, it's so unresolved right now that one side calls it Belgaum, the other side takes objection, calls it Belagavi. If they call it Belagavi, the first side takes objection, saying, how dare you change the name of the place. So it was Meghalaya Mahajan who headed a committee. That committee gave a report that nobody liked. In 1960, again, Bombay Presidency was divided, and that's when Gujarat and Maharashtra came into being. It was at that time that once again there was trouble, and now Government of India, Nehru government, set up a Meghalaya Mahajan commission. Now this was a commission, and both states said they will accept whatever the commission says. But like what happens in gully cricket. No, at least high level cricket. You might say that this decision is gone to DRS, right? DRS got it wrong. Camera was wrong. Remember that dismissal that Ashwin claimed against Dean Elgar, which DRS set aside. That looked like the ball bounced suddenly as if it was a tennis ball. So obviously DRS was wrong. So the decision doesn't go in your favor. You say DRS was wrong. If it goes in your favor, you say it was fine. So in this case, because in the award that the commission gave in 1966, the commission gave some of the villages and some territory to Maharashtra, but bulk of it said should remain in Karnataka. So sure enough, Maharashtra said DRS is wrong, right? And they rejected the award. So as I said, you can, in international cricket, you will still have to, on international tennis or hockey, you will still have to accept the third umpire's award. But in gully cricket, where you make your own rules, there is no such compulsion. So politics in India, anywhere, but particularly in our country, is run to the ethics or rules of gully cricket, right? Jiski lathi uski bhains. So Maharashtra said we will not accept it. Since then, it's been a festering problem. Then, if I read stories done, so now we have now two correspondents covering this. Mansi Phadke, who's our chief of bureau in Mumbai, she's covering it. Not exactly. This is not like she's giving Maharashtra's point of view, and Sharan, who's our new correspondent in Karnataka, is giving the Karnataka point of view. And I guarantee to you, these two are not fighting with each other. But we get the details, we get the picture from both sides. So if you look at this, very funny because I'm an outsider, so maybe I can call it funny. In 1969, Morarji Desai, he was Deputy Prime Minister of India in Indira Gandhi's government shortly before the Congress party split. So he came to Mumbai. He had been the Chief Minister of the entire Bombay presidency earlier. Then Gujarat. He was a Gujarati. So he came into Bombay, and Shiv Sena workers. Shiv Sena had just come up then. That fascinating story, in fact, some of it plays out in that very complex but overly long, but I think a very good film, although it bombed, Bombay Velvet that Anurag Kashyap made. So Shiv Sena was actually propped up by the Congress people because left unions were getting very strong. So they needed a force to counter the left unions in Bombay. Shiv Sena came out on the Maharashtrian plank in protest against Belgavi having been given to Karnataka, which was still Mysore. It became Karnataka on 1st of November 1973, when many other states were also reorganized or renamed. Nevertheless, Morarji Desai being Morarji Desai, his way of dealing with most of this was to be so supremely indifferent, to be completely zoned out, to be in a world of his own, not show any expression in his face, not wave at anybody. He was most unlike today's politicians. So he carried on, but there was rioting in Mumbai at that point of time, and that was the first time that Bal Thackeray was detained. And in fact, Uddhav Thackeray's son, when he became chief minister, he talked about it very emotionally. He said he was 8 or 9 years old at that point of time, and he remembered his father telling his mom that, look, they are coming to arrest us, etc., etc. And there was tear gas and a lot of action in the city. So a lot of rioting took place. So that is the history. After that, over time, it looked like that slowly, this situation was calming down. Because you know what, time is the best healer. Maharashtrians should have figured or would have figured that their state was large enough anyway. Karnataka not only became a state, figured that their state was large enough, but also Bengaluru. I have to be careful. Mumbai and Bengaluru grew. So they would have thought, look, now we are also a leading state, so we have our pride and self-respect. Maharashtrians thought we have it, but the Belgavi issue never went away. And you know what happens with all these issues is that these issues are brought back to life as and when it becomes useful, which means as and when politics becomes a little bit livelier. So I'll give you some timeline. As I told you, 23rd November, that is today, as I recorded, Supreme Court was supposed to start hearing this petition, which was filed in 2004. Thank you, Supreme Court, right? And thank you further for again postponing it. So I don't know when they will do it. But because they announced the date today, then a lot of things came to a head. among the things that have happened suddenly are as follows. Number one, Maharashtra government had announced a pension scheme for the families, for the kin of those who they said got martyred in the agitation to get Belgavi. Basically, conquer the territory of Belgavi, right? That is, conquer the territory of Belgavi from Karnataka into Maharashtra. So they've been giving a pension to those whose families live in Maharashtra. Now they said we'll also give these pensions to those who were quote unquote martyred but whose families might live in Karnataka. So that, just think about it. I have to be very careful with comparisons, but I simply can't resist the temptation. That's a bit like tomorrow between India and Pakistan. You say, oh, all those who supported India in the many wars, even if their families live in Pakistani occupied Kashmir, they will get pensions from us there. And similarly, Pakistanis say, all those who backed us all this while in our effort to take Kashmir away from India, right? Their families, we will give pensions to them from our side. So both two sides sending pensions to each other. So I know it's an extreme example. That's between two nations and a disputed territory. But you know what? This is two states and this is disputed territory. And both states are behaving like they were sovereign republics in their own right. How confusing it can get, I can tell you. Now, Karnataka has even said, my government, that they will now, in retaliation to this pension thing, they will also give pensions to everybody, any side, and also they will now give grants to schools in the Maharashtra side who are teaching Kannada or Kannada medium. So once again, right, this is cross-border politics. I don't want to say cross-border something else. Other expressions are more popular these days, so I will keep the T word out. But this is cross-border mischief that both of them are doing. And see how complicated does this get. So while the Chief Minister of Maharashtra says that everybody who fights for Nela, Jala, Bhashe, that is land, water and language, right? All of them will be honored. Maharashtra Chief Minister, on the other hand, has set up a high-powered committee. And who are the members of this committee? This is an all-party committee, right? So this has Eknath Shinde, the Chief Minister, Narayan Rane, a cabinet minister. Now think about it. Narayan Rane is a member here. He's a serving cabinet minister. In Maharashtra, government suit at the Supreme Court, respondent number one is Union of India, right? Because they have to respond, they have to decide where will this territory go. And one of the cabinet ministers of Union of India is a partisan on this side. He's a member of this high-powered committee. Also, Devendra Fadnavis, Sharad Pawar, Prithviraj Chavan and Ajit Pawar, not to be left behind, leader of opposition in the lower house in Maharashtra, I suppose also leader of opposition within the NCP, but that's a cheap shot, so please let it pass. Now the key underlying factor is both these states are run by the BJP, one way or the other. Karnataka fully, directly BJP plus all the defectors that they bought over or they charmed into joining the BJP, right? And Maharashtra, BJP, but front-led by Eknath Shinde with his rebel Shiv Sena, which claims to be a real Shiv Sena. But see, he has to establish himself as a leader. So he's trying to grab Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy by saying Balasaheb fought for this, so I'm fighting for this, right? Both states are heading for elections of different types. Karnataka is heading for their state elections, which is very crucial, very critical for the BJP. Every state election is pretty critical for the BJP. But Karnataka is a state that they swept completely in Lok Sabha elections and they want to do it again. And they don't want to lose that state within exactly a year of general elections. For the Congress party, that's the one state they have a chance of winning. And the government, BJP's government, has been quite chaotic and quite non-functional in Karnataka. So they are feeling very vulnerable. So they have to find some excuses for their election. So it's at the election time that the same issue of territory between two states within the sovereign Union of India, governed by the same political party, has become such a contentious. So this issue has been brought back to life. This has now become another sensitive war-like situation. So think about it. On the same day, right? the two big states of India up the ante because of border issues. On the same day, two sensitive border states within the same union exchange fire. They are firing, their 6 lives are lost. All this is happening between one sovereign country and between state governments run by the same party or the same alliance. So with all this happening, I don't think we Indians should ever have the fear of missing out or FOMO over anything. We may not be so hot with football, for example, but once again, see, we can choose sides, we can choose our own flags in someone else's war over football, right? And we can also hurt each other, God forbid, if we were to ever kill somebody for it. But we better be very careful.